morning, and indeed it is a good morning for Kampala citizens and of course the rest of the country as we, see a slump in prices of petroleum products and oil here in Uganda. It is definitely a sigh of relief because in the last 6 months, this is the lowest the fuel prices have dropped. I mean, we're talking about the drop from 5,200 a litre to what is an estimated 4,700 all the way to 4,900 thereabout. This is a significant decrease in price that could be attributed to so many factors that we definitely need to find out what could have led to this particular drop in prices. It is a sigh of relief for motorists, definitely, if you look around, but we also need to be sure that this does relate to the public and that actually they are receiving the same good news that we've been told about. Now, to help me understand this further, I'm joined by the head of corporate affairs at UNOC, the one and only Mr. Otoa Tony, to help us understand what this significant drop in prices can be attributed to. Good morning, Mr. Otoa. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Tracy. I'm doing very well, thank you.
We just wanted to find out, what would you attribute the drop in prices of fuel to?
First and foremost, I think it's obvious, the sole importation by the Uganda National Oil Company. I think 4 months or 6 months ago when we took this on, everyone was wondering, and I remember the question that was coming up, does it crease or does it creases? And everyone was saying creases because they weren't certain of what was going to happen, but we were confident that at a certain point in time, these prices are going to go down. So number one, the sole importation by UNOC, because what that means is that at all times, the most important thing is that we have fuel stocks in the country. So we do not have a situation where fuel at any point is understocked or not in the country. So we have fuel stock at all times. That's number one. But number two, we are selling at competitive prices. Okay, so it's like going to a shop and you're getting something at a best price. However much you take it from a wholesale shop to a retail shop, you'll still sell it to your end user at a good price because you have been sold, or it has been sold to you at a fair price. So those two areas are really the reason why we see this amazing thing. Back in the day, we had so many middlemen who were in between the final consumer. Anyone like the boda and the cars, there was a middleman or several middlemen. Now we have no middleman. We have the Uganda National Oil Company and the end user through the OMC, the oil marketing companies or the petrol stations that we see. So it's a good story, and I'm glad you're calling it a slump because it is indeed a slump. This is the lowest we've gone in the last 6 months, and by the way, it's a good story that is yet to continue.
You talked about, a slump in prices that we are also happy about. But, there was a time where a liter of fuel was 3,500 and Ugandans can only hope that that happens. Is that a pipeline?
Tracy, there's so many things I really wish would go down. Like, the price of my favorite drink going down to 2,000 shillings in my kafunda. But, I mean, things have changed. Globally, the dollar has gone up if you do it vis-a-vis our national currency, which has an impact on the cost of buying this fuel and also importing it into the country. That's number one. Number two, there are several factors globally that are affecting the prices going up. Now we have the war in the Middle East. All of that is affecting the steadiness of prices at a global level. But also what is really important is that as time has gone on, Tracy, 20 years ago, so many things have changed because of inflation. Every year there's, year on inflation. And what that means is that the cost of commodities goes up. So I wish it would go down to 3,500 like anyone else. But there's those two factors that are very critical. Inflation that has happened year on year, but also the cost of, doing business and the price of the dollar or the dollar vis-a-vis the national currency. But hopefully we can see this happening within our context. However, those are the two areas that I believe have an impact on that price not going back to your amazing price of 3.5.
Yeah. You did talk about, UNOC being the sole, marketer of oil in this country, and we wanted to find out just at what extent is the disruption that UNOC is creating in the industry?
It's a positive disruption. I mean, whenever people think of disruption, everyone thinks of it as a negative. But this is positive disruption. Like how the fintechs have come to positively disrupt us with, the kind of impact that they have. This is positive disruption. What it has meant is that we can now have our fuel products at a cheaper price. That's amazing. Number two, we can now have fuel products at all times. So if there's a problem in the foreign country or our neighboring country and it is impacting on the movement of this product into our country, we don't have that as an issue. But number three is the fact that we're going into LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. What that means is that we're going to move away from using a lot of biomass, charcoal and all of these, to moving into using, gas, which will support how we do business and how we rather cook in our households and take care of our households. So again, that's a positive disruption, Tracy, and that is what Uganda needs as we move into our energy transition conversations, into greening, into conserving our environment.
My last question certainly would be, do we have a return on investment? Was this a good call by the government?
You see, like any business, you always know at a certain point. I think it's still too early to say return on investment. These are teething problems or teething issues where we are, first of all, aligning. We're giving you a good price. Let's align that first. We are making sure that the Ugandan is comfortable at all times to have his fuel. Let's align on that. And then after that, we can now talk about the money. But of course, it is a positive thing. It's a good thing for the company. It's proof that a local national company, a government institution, can actually do amazing stuff. And this is what Uganda needs. We need Ugandans to be confident in the institutions that are for them. And UNOC is proving that, and I believe this will be a positive story, Tracy.
Thank you so much, Tony. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
There you have it. The prices are slumping, and perhaps this is an early Christmas present for all Ugandans as we head into festivities. Back to you, Shamim, in the command center.